Hey everyone, how's it going? Well, y'all already know how my day probably is. But today is my son's birthday, so I made a dinner and um, we have him a cake, which he's too full right now to eat. Anyway, it's kind of a special day around here. It's his birthday. Um, he's been working a lot, so he's really just wanting to sleep. But anyway, I got an email about wearing your pinnacle out in public. Okay, now this can, everybody's going to have their own opinion on this. Um, First of all, I think honestly, it depends on what you do for a living. Um, some people are more apt to judge you than others, but that doesn't necessarily mean it pertains to your profession. In nursing, um, we take care of the in geriatrics anyway, the elderly. Um, and a lot of them are pretty set in their ways, very much Christian, um, and they've never even taken the time uh, to even try to understand what the pinnacle really stands for, or the pentagram. Um, so how are you going to, you can't sit there and explain it to them when they've lived, for 70, 75 years as a Christian. Um, Actually, most of us witches know and say that our pinnacle is just as peaceful as their Christian cross. Um, but I mean, it's up to you. I mean, I'm not going to tell you not to wear it by no means. I wear mine, but a lot of times, if I think I'm going into a place, it's not necessarily or at all that I'm ashamed of it. By no means. It's I just don't need the unnecessary attention. Um, or the havoc with my job, or getting called into the director of nursing's office and saying, well, you can't wear that anymore. Well, then that start a whole other cauldron of trouble, because now you're telling me that I don't have the right to my own religion. If I can't wear my pinnacle outside, then nobody should be able to wear their crosses outside on their shirts. You see what I'm saying? It would just create a lot more issues at your job, and most people need their jobs. So I think a lot of us just stand down just to avoid the conflict. Not that we're afraid of it, but why bring anything on yourself that don't have to be? So that's totally up to you. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to tell you not to wear it. Um, like I said, I wear mine, but it's very easily tucked underneath my shirt or whatever. I mean, most people don't walk up to you and when they don't see the pendant, they might see the chain, but they usually don't walk up to you and say, "Oh, let me see your necklace," unless it's out and already showing. And then somebody will say, "Oh, that's pretty." So it's totally up to you. As I said, I would never tell you not to. I like mine, like wearing mine. The only thing is with mine, it's a little heavy. I mean, the one I have is kind of long and it's kind of heavy. It's actually, I got it for when I'm actually dressed out, as I call it. And it hangs heart level where I like it. And so I don't wear it every day, all day long, and I don't put it on just to go to Walmart. But, uh, you can wear it anytime, anywhere you want. But in certain professions, I do understand that it might be a little bit risque. Um, I don't know. my personal thing is I wouldn't care, you know. As I said, that's my right, that's my religion, and I have every right to wear that pentacle just like they have the right to wear their crosses or any other, or the anka. You know, a lot of people wear the ankas, and it's just a symbol. If it means nothing to you, don't worry about it. You know, but people are so afraid of witches, you know, and all this that, well, it's just it's totally up to you if you want to risk the having to explain it. That's what I wouldn't want. I wouldn't want to sit there and explain it all day, every day when I have a job to do. It's like I would explain it to you, but I'm busy, so just, you know, don't look at it if you don't like it. But like I said, I normally have it down in my shirt anyway. Um, so once again, that's totally up to you. Now, uh, some people will automatically assume that it is the mark of the devil or a symbol for the devil. There is a pinnacle uh, that looks like ours, but when you look at it closer, and it's usually got a goat head, you know, it's the left hand pass um, pinnacle. Usually has a goat head or something in it, and the pinnacle is upside down. If that makes sense, it just looks different when you look at them. You can tell. I wish I had. I know I have one around here somewhere because of my old man, but I'm not going to go rifling through stuff. So, I mean, it's totally up to you. Whatever you want to decide you want to do. Uh, Sorry, my daughter was texting me. Did you get Lauren's happy birthday wish?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So, it's totally up to you. I'm not ashamed to wear it. It just depends on how much flack you want to take, if any. Some people might not say a word,
Where's that cake?
but then you might get called into the office. Will you hand me one while you're in there, please?
What?
Hand me a pop while you're right there. Thank you, thank you. Slow down, slow down.
Oh, I got one speed. I ain't got no more.
Mhm. One of my children. Anyway, so yeah, that's totally up to you if you want to wear it or not. Of course, you know me. I would think it'd be great if I had another nurse that I was working with that was wearing a pinnacle. I go, yes. I mean, what better profession for a witch to be in than a nurse, knowing, you know, who we are and what we do, and um, all that stuff. Or even a doctor. Sometimes how many doctors are actually witches, but they ain't about to say anything because of all the turmoil and gossip and baloney that comes along with it. Also, guess what I've done? And you can't even see it on here. It did not turn out right. I actually dyed my hair. I'll take it down, but you still can't really tell. I mean, it looks a little darker than my usual blonde. I don't know. I just got bored. And I can't see anything now, so without my glasses on. But can you see it? I don't like it because it was supposed to be purple. Yes, I was dyeing my hair purple, but you can just see like purple streaks in it. That's all it did. And it actually brought more of my red out. It's kind of like my Irish came out and say, no, you're not subduing me. But you can see little bits of purple. I know you can't see very well on here. And, well, when I back up, see this? Uh, it actually looks more lavender when you see it in person. It's kind of weird how it looks on here, but it didn't turn out the way I wanted it. Mainly because I got the semi-permanent because I wasn't sure, how I think it, because I've never done anything like this to my hair. So I wasn't sure what to expect or if I'd like it. And I didn't want to be stuck with it forever, or until it grew out. Um, so I got the semi-permanent. But if we hadn't have actually washed it, because I washed it with shampoo afterwards, and it says not to do that with semi-permanent uh, color. Now, it said I could put conditioner on it, um, but no shampoo. So I actually probably washed out almost all of it. So now I'm going to have to redo it. But I was kind of really excited. I wanted just to come on here with, purple hair and freak y'all out. Doing something different. I see what happens when I sit home on board and I'm getting older and going through that, midlife crisis, and you just want change or you get bored with yourself or whatever the reason. So I thought I'd try it. But now I'm going to have to redo it. But anyway, that is the only question that I actually had. I was going to tell you a little bit about my full moon coming up. Well, my full moon ritual, and well, I don't usually tell about my rituals, but my full moon intentions that I'm going to set. It could give y'all a couple ideas. Usually I only do one, and I concentrate on that one, but these kind of go together, and for what's going on in my life, and in fact the whole world, I think it's a very appropriate thing to do. But I'm going to do something on insight, guidance, and prosperity. Now realize, and I've probably told y'all this before, that prosperity doesn't necessarily mean money. Prosperity could be anything. Your mental health could prosper. Your relationships could prosper. Your job, you could prosper at your job. Most people think, well, I'm going to do a prosperity spell, and what happened? I didn't get rich. Well, it's not a money spell; it's a prosperity spell. They just automatically, and money could be part of prosperity, but it is not. Just it's one thing underneath the umbrella as far as prosperity spells go. And I'm thinking about taking the inside out. I mean, I would like to, but sometimes you just kind of don't want to know. I don't think we're supposed to know. Now, sometimes if you're trying to make an extremely serious and detrimental decision, whatever that might be, yeah, then you might ask for insight. But I think I put insight not for personally to, I don't know, it just seemed to go. In fact, that was the first thing that hit in my mind. And I have not ever done, not that I can ever remember. Now, I've did things to strengthen my third eye, my intuition, but actual insight, I just don't remember ever doing anything specifically for that. And also, as I told y'all, on the full moon, um, and depending on which pantheon you're in, it's either Diana or Artemis and Hecate. We Hecateans always include Hecate when it comes to the moon. At least I would say 99% of us. I won't ever say all, because to me, she's the dark side of the moon. Does that make sense? Not that she's a dark goddess. As I said before, she has an aspect that is dark. Several of them that are dark, but she also is many, many, many other things. And so I still consider her the dark part of the moon. When the moon is in its stages and you see any of the dark part, that's her inhabiting it. And then Artemis or Diana, whichever one, whether you're of the Roman or Greek pantheons, um, to me they're the same goddess, they're just called something different. But I'm weird like that. Um, I also thought about doing something here shortly for the Morrigan. And I don't work with the Morrigan. Um, in fact, just a couple of times in my life, I've really sat down and worked with her, did something with her, because I usually just go to Hecate. Um, I can't think of anything that she can't do. And well, except for like I've said about Bast or Bastet, however you want to say it, for my cats. But usually once a year, I honor the Morgan. And it's usually right as spring's starting when our storms are starting to float up and around. Because the Morgan is an extremely good goddess for protecting from storms. And I'm not saying Hecate's not. Never think I ever leave her out of anything because I don't. It's just to me, this is kind of the Morrigan's specialty. Does that make sense? Um, what I did when I first moved into this house, the very first year that I was here, I have there's a little stretch like a flower bed with nothing in it, um, right in front of my house. The perfect size that I've been wanting to plant and put things in ever since I've been here. But as I said, it is so damn windy, and the way it faces, I'm afraid it's just gonna blow all my plants away before they even get a chance to prosper. But what I did, I took uh, a heart-shaped piece of, and I'm going to go blank. It wasn't an emerald. I want to say it was green fluorite, and I put my blessing on it and offered it to her to protect my home from storms. And I buried it there, and it's been there ever since. Um, the very first year, in fact, I may have told y'all this story. Um, the cable guy. I mean, I hadn't been here very long. The cable man was here hooking up my cable, and it was starting to storm really bad and lightning going off everywhere. And I was kind of afraid for him to be messing with wires and stuff, because of the lightning. And it was cloud to ground. It wasn't cloud to cloud. Um, and I mean, he had just come in the house and walked back in my bedroom because we were running a line between the wall of my bedroom into the living room. And we heard the loudest crack. And after I could hear, again, I was like, lightning just struck my house is what I thought. Somewhere it struck some part of my house. I truly expected to walk out of my bedroom and see the other end of my house, on fire because my house rocked. It was so extremely loud and light in my room, um, just like that. And I mean, you should have seen the look in his eyes. It's funny now, but it wasn't then. And so we both take off out of my room, running to look outside, and sure enough, it had struck the tree in my front yard, right in my front yard. That was too damn close for me. And so I did this, protection spell. Well, I hadn't been here very long. I was already planning on doing one, but I just hadn't had time between trying to get everything turned on, get moved in. While I started working almost the exact same day I moved here in here, and I just had to do things in spurts. Uh, and anyway, I was planning on getting all that done, and that kind of spurred me on to hurry up and get it done. And then the very next year, shit you not, I was sitting in my bedroom, which my bedroom wall is the only next door neighbor I have is the one on this to the right side of me, and which is the other side of my bedroom wall. My bedroom's on the outside wall. Well, I heard it, another one, and I thought, oh, that sounded familiar. My whole room lit up, the electricity went off, and I could hear people hollering, and I'm like, oh my God. So I take off running out there, and it had struck the tree next to me. And at that time, nobody was living in that house. In fact, it was falling down. That's where I found my Jesse, my cat, one of my cats that I have. He was already grown and all that or he found me, whatever, but he was kind of living in that old abandoned house. And they ended up going in there and totally remodeling it, and now people live in there. And anyway, so the lightning had hit that tree next door. And I was like, damn, you know, what is up with the lightning around here? I mean, I'm from West Texas, there's no trees. If you have cloud to ground lightning, I mean, there's a mesquite tree here and there, but not that part of Texas. You don't, unless somebody plants them or there's a random one growing somewhere, you just don't see trees. So there's nothing for that lightning to, connect with except the ground. And it comes straight down. Bless their hearts, it's killed cattle, horses, stuff like that. But I just never have been one to like lightning, even though I consider myself, I guess you could say, a storm witch. Um, and I chase tornadoes when I can. I don't much anymore because honestly, I think that the older you get, the less inquisitive and risky you get, the less dangerous you are because you don't go out and do crazy, weird stuff that you would have done when you was younger, or like me, for instance. I'll just say in my case, they're very beautiful. I mean, they're just so intriguing to sit and watch one, and they're almost mesmerizing, like they would put you in a trance because they're actually, and especially if you get one that isn't tearing anything up. Yeah, it's probably pulling up dirt and grass or whatever. But if you get one what I call a clean tornado, where it comes down white and it hasn't really sucked anything up yet, and it's not even a very big one. Maybe an F2 or an EF2, as they say now. Um, they're actually very beautiful to me. Um, now the F5s, it strikes terror in everybody, especially here in Oklahoma after the two that did hit here. But I still, will go out and watch the clouds and drive around, and that's just one of the things that I absolutely love to do. Always have. It relaxes me and it makes me feel like I'm keeping, my eyes and ears open, because I've been raised around it so long. And when you learn there's different smells. You can feel the atmospheric, pressure drop. The air becomes extremely thick, or that's how I see it, like extremely humid. Um, it may turn instantly hot or instantly cold, depending on which downdraft has hit. But anyway, this ain't a tornado thing. I know, but you get me. I get talking about that, and then I just keep on. But anyway, that was the whole point of me putting the green fluoride out there. And I usually go around once a year, around this time of year, if it's on a day that it's not extremely windy, and I already have my eggshells crushed up and ready. I go around my entire property, dropping my eggshells and saying my chant to protect my home. Um, Now that second year that I was telling you that the lightning struck this tree next to me, um, is when we actually had a tornado. Maybe in the third year. The third year, yes, we actually had a tornado touch down here. Um, if it had stayed on course, because it was coming straight up from Texas, and I mean we're just pretty much right off I-40, going towards Amarillo, and so it was heading straight towards us, and it even had it projected that it was going to hit the school and travel pretty much, right from the middle to the north side of Elk City, which is the side I live on, the north side, northeast. And anyway, so, I'm sitting here thinking, oh no, you know, and that's the only time I actually went to the cellar here. My daughter has one, and I went over there, and I don't know what's worse, standing out watching a tornado coming at you. Well, it is probably worse, but I'm claustrophobic as hell, and I do not like being down in the cellar. Um, I would honestly rather, and I'm not saying go do this, please don't go do this, because it's very much advised against. Do not stay in your car if a tornado is approaching you. Now, if you know exactly which direction it's going and you're in your car and you've got enough time to go the opposite direction, then do so. But most people don't actually know which direction it's moving unless you've had some sort of training um, that can teach you how to measure that. And yes, you see in the movie Twister where the guy goes like that and stands out in the middle of the road because he's testing where the wind direction's at. You know, there is actually some truth to that. That's why I love that movie Twister, because it's pretty dead on as far as some of the things that they state about tornadoes. Anyway, like I said, this isn't a tornado channel, but it's that time of year. So, and as I told y'all, yes, I'm a storm witch. So, and I mean tornado, not snow and sleet and all that. But this is my favorite time of year. And so I just assumed and figured that, it'd be the perfect time on this full moon to do my uh, these ones that I mentioned, and renew the protection on my house, which I think everybody should do at least once a year. It should be, redone, revisited, however you want to put it, just to keep that protection up. And not saying that one won't ever hit no matter what. It's just the way it's supposed to be. But I sure am hoping not. But anyway, this is a good time for me to do all that because, everything that you do on this full moon, any full moon, is amplified. And you have 3 days. You have the day before, the day of, and the day after. And I haven't done anything in quite a while because I've just been blah. And as I've said, I don't really have that much privacy anymore to actually do my magic because I don't want nobody watching me or walking in on me or interrupting me, so I just haven't done a whole lot. So this full moon, I'm definitely going to get some water. I need some more full moon water and all that stuff. And I'm going to really try. I need all 3 days because there's several things I want to do, but I don't know. We'll see. And this is going to be the wind moon. Isn't that ironic that I just was talking about tornadoes? And on my Llewellyn calendar, it says it's the wind moon. So, but anyway, the Morrigan, the reason I go to her for stuff like this, because she's excellent when it comes to calming the storms. And I guess you could even look at that as, metaphorically speaking, storms going on inside of you and your family and your life. But I look at it more to the physical, seeable storms, the atmosphere. And I also relate it more to thunderstorms, tornadoes, stuff like that. Because you just have to read up on the Morrigan. I mean, there may be several of you that are already with her, but she's really, really good. And I, especially for my animals, I go to Bast. It's really the only time of year that I would, as some witches put it, God or goddess hop. I mean, because some witches believe that if you stay with one goddess, then, or if you're with one, then that should be your main and only goddess. Well, to me, that's just not true. That's polytheistic, and that the difference between monotheism, which is Christianity. They believe in one God, and we pagans know and believe that there are many gods and goddesses. So, and my poor tree out there, I've told y'all about the deal about him, this man coming over here and cutting it down. I'm not going to go into it again, but I was livid, and it's still, and probably in my lifetime or the time that I live here, it's not ever going to be as big and beautiful and full as it was, because I'm sure that took many, many years. And he just wiped it away in a day. It just made me sick. But that poor little tree, I gave it a face. I ordered a green man face, off Amazon, and nailed it to my tree out there. So now next time somebody walks by it or wants to trim it, they got to look at that face. There's nothing to trim anyway. So anyway, I'll stop rambling. I just thought I'd get on here and talk to y'all for a little bit. I'm not usually on this early, but I thought maybe I might catch people and be able to actually talk to people for a change. I mean, there's a few that are up at night with me, but not a lot. And as you see, my future wand is still sitting here in the same place it's always been, right here. Nothing done to it. And I'm really bad about stuff like that. Anyway, I just thought I'd tell y'all, give y'all a little bit of info there, and I may come back on tonight. I'm thinking about finishing my hair up. I don't know. So I think my kiddo is ready to cut his cake. So we'll talk to y'all later. Blessed be. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Justin, you want to cut your cake?